The Jimny 3-door was an excellent off-roader, but it was more of a toy. As a daily, it was very impractical. Only 2 people could sit comfortably, and if you do sit 4 people, you practically have no space for cargo. Now this right here is the Jimny 5-door, and it addresses the shortcomings of the 3-door. It has 2 extra doors and a lot more interior space, but it's also a lot more expensive now. Is it still worth the money? Let's find out. The Jimny 5-door comes in 2 variants in the Philippines, the GL manual and the GLX automatic. There's also a 2-tone color option, which is the same as the GLX automatic, but it gets a blacked out roof. 150,000 pesos separates the manual and automatic variants, and for that price difference, you get more than just a different transmission. The GLX automatic comes with a few cosmetic as well as functional upgrades. Now looking at it from the front where the extra doors are not visible, you can tell that it's the 5-door if it has chrome accents on the grille. The grille of the 5-door is also finished in gray, while on the 3-door it's finished in unpainted flat black plastic. Like the 3-door, it gets these round headlamps. On the automatic variant, these are LEDs, while on the manual variant, these are halogens. It gets the same chunky plastic bumper as the 2-door. Both the automatic and manual variants get the same 15-inch wheels finished in gunmetal. Both variants get 195/80 series tires, but from different brands. The automatic gets Bridgestone Dualer HL tires, while the manual gets Dunlop Grand Trek 80/20 tires. They both get disc brakes at the front and drum brakes at the back. The automatic gets power folding and power adjustable side mirrors, which are finished in gloss black. The roof of the automatic is also finished in gloss black. The Jimny 5-door is the exact same height and width as the 3-door. It gets the same 210mm ground clearance, but obviously the 5-door is longer. The 5-door has a wheelbase of 2,590mm, which is 340mm longer than the 3-door. Like the 3-door, the 5-door has very short overhangs, which is why it has a very generous 36-degree approach angle and a 47-degree departure angle. You only get one engine option for all the variants of the Jimny, and that's this 1.5-liter naturally aspirated engine. So this puts out 103 horsepower and 138 Newton meters of torque. The GLX comes with a 4-speed automatic, and the GL comes with a 5-speed manual. Now, one thing that you have to know about the Jimny is that it's not a crossover. It's based on a truck chassis, and unlike most modern SUVs, it comes with rigid axles front and back. Now, that's not the best kind of suspension setup for road use, but for off-road use, it has its benefits. At the back, all the variants look the same. The automatic also gets halogen tail lamps and the same chunky plastic bumper as the other variants. Like a proper old-school style SUV, the spare tire of the Jimny is mounted on the rear door, and the rear door opens sideways. Now, one of the biggest improvements to the 5-door is the cargo space. Whereas the 3-door had barely usable 85 liters of cargo space, the 5-door has a much more usable 211 liters with the second row seats up. If you fold the second row seats down, you don't get a flat loading surface, but you do get 332 liters of cargo space, which is more than enough space to fit our sponsor for today. Introducing the Atto Sport Mobility Scooter, the world's most innovative mobility scooter. It folds into a small suitcase size, and it has wheels so you can move it around like a trolley. It separates into 2 parts. It has leather seats and grips, an illuminated LCD dashboard, enhanced lighting for extra visibility. You can install optional armrests. It's perfect for seniors as it's easy to lift and unfolds in seconds. It has a maximum speed of 10 kph, shock absorbing flat free tires, high ground clearance, advanced braking system, be free to travel anywhere, land, sea or air. It has 20 kilometers of continuous driving range. Engineered with flair, designed with passion for performance. Be active, be free, be yourself. Atto Sport, moving life. Okay, so we're now inside the Jimny 5-door automatic. And like the 2-door, the interior has a very utilitarian look to it. So everything's made of hard plastic. Hard plastic, hard plastic, hard plastic, hard plastic. You do get a leather wrapped steering wheel though, and it feels quite nice on the hands. The seats are covered in fabric. Everything looks chunky, everything looks heavy duty. We have these chunky dials over here, also over here. You get this 9-inch infotainment screen. It has Apple CarPlay, it has Android Auto. You also get a reverse camera, but you don't get active guidelines. You get an analog speedometer and tachometer, and you get a monochromatic display at the center. You don't get a push start button. You have to put the key in the ignition to start the engine. Now, like the 2-door, you don't have the power window buttons on the door cards. Instead, they're over here. Now this is for opening the driver's side window. This is for the passenger side window. The controls for the rear windows are all the way down here. So this is the automatic variant, and you get this automatic shifter over here. And this is your lever for selecting between 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. You also got a manual handbrake over here. You have one USB port over here and one 12-volt outlet. In terms of storage, the glove box is it's decently sized. You have a bit of storage over here. Yeah. Now in terms of space, I have plenty of headroom over here. I have about 4.5 to 5 inches. The steering wheel tilts, but it doesn't telescope. You get regular cruise control. This does not have adaptive cruise control. Now this is what you mostly pay for on the 5-door. You get actual usable space here at the second row. I have about 4 inches of legroom over here. You don't get a center armrest. You don't get aircon vents back here. Now I had low expectations for the Jimny's on-road performance, but the good thing about having low expectations is that it's easier to be impressed. The ride is surprisingly passable. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still not a plush ride, but it is tolerable. I'd say it's comparable to a pickup, but the better riding ones like the Ranger or the Navara. The increased wheelbase, I think, improved the ride quality by a noticeable degree. The steering is not sharp by any means. There's a bit of play at the center. The steering ratio is also quite slow, and that's perfectly okay, as it's not a sports car. The Jimny has electronic power steering. It's nicely weighted, it doesn't feel too light. One thing that you might have to get used to is that the steering doesn't quite return to center with as much eagerness as most cars. you have to assist it a little bit. And that threw me off a little bit the first time that I made a U-turn. NVH is a mixed bag. The engine is quiet, you don't get a lot of vibrations from it, but a bit of outside noise enters the cabin. It's not noisy, but there were times when I could hear people talking outside and I had to check if I had an open window. Now you might be wondering if it's underpowered, considering that it only has 100 horsepower. It doesn't feel slow when you're driving it normally. When you floor it, that's when you realize that it takes a while to get to your desired speed. While it's not quick, it has no problems with torque or gearing. Going uphill is not an issue. I mean, it can't be since it's designed to go off-road, and going uphill should be a regular part of its repertoire. So if you're wondering if it's gonna make it to Baguio, if it can handle mountains, definitely kayang-kaya ang Baguio. Now regarding fuel economy, highway performance, and off-road performance, you'll have to wait for the full review as I was only able to drive the Jimny on city roads. Do subscribe to be updated. The Jimny was never a vehicle that people bought for practicality. It's something that people bought despite its lack of it. It really is more like a toy for grown-ups. People bought it to modify it, whether for the trail or for the car show. The 5-door takes the rugged looks, the off-road performance, and the modability of the 3-door and adds practicality into the mix. So if practicality was the hindrance that kept you from buying a Jimny, the 5-door solves that problem for you. The new hindrance though might be the price. The 5-door automatic sells for almost 1.7 million pesos. That's almost 300,000 pesos more than the 3-door automatic. Now that's a significant price difference, but also, on the other hand, it's not really a huge amount considering what people pay to modify their Jimnys. If you want a compact 4x4 off-road SUV that you can easily modify, this may actually still be one of your more affordable options, despite its price increase.